Next up here on Live from Paris, it's Media Watch. James Creedon is here. James, you're going to start us off with that political chicanery that's been going on in the French Parliament today.
And right. Before I have a pint with Marcus.
Indeed. Stay there for just a moment and tell us about these three numbers that are doing the round: 4, 9 and 3.
That's right. Article 49.3 for French Constitution nerds. This is the article that allowed François Hollande and the Prime Minister, Mr. Valls, to ram through the economic reform bill, which is a baggage of reforms, for example, Sunday trading, things like that. Now, it's a very controversial law because it allows you to short-circuit the Parliament. Essentially, it's like the Republican king, as it was designed in the 1958 Constitution by Charles de Gaulle to facilitate. In other words, the king in a monarchic style, or the president, a little bit of both, can ram through a law without referring it to Parliament.
Kind of like Barack Obama with executive action or something.
Exactly,
like that.
Similar type idea, and it's very controversial. Nicolas Sarkozy never used it, for example, under his 5-year presidency. It has been used in the past, but it's the first time it's been used in, I suppose, the modern Twitter age. So we'll get to that in a minute. But first of all, you had Manuel Valls speaking on the TF1 Evening News, defending the controversial use of this forcing through article, if you like. And also the finance minister appearing simultaneously on the other channel, France 2, Main Evening News. So really this was a case of good cop, bad cop, as some described it earlier. Manuel Valls saying France badly needs some authority. So I suppose he is obliged to defend the decision to use this law. Let's take a look at how others have been reacting. The head of the opposition, who, as I said, never had a use for this Article 49.3, said France no longer has a majority nor a government. Now, why no longer a majority? Well, the reason they use this law is it was suspected that the left...
Their own backbenchers as well.
That's right, weren't going to fully support it. And that's why they had to opt for this controversial means of getting it through. Then Mayor of Nice said that this is a sort of coup d'etat. So you have all these sort of criticisms coming through. Now, of course, the political historians have been getting to work. And, of course, François Hollande criticised the use of Article 49.3 when he was in opposition back in 2006, calling it a brutality, a denial of democracy, and a means of stopping or preventing parliamentary debate. So, of course, as is often the case in politics, you have to eat your own words when you're on the other side of the political house, or whatever you'd say.
So a lot of disapproval on Twitter?
That's right. As I said, the first time that Article 49.3 has been used in France in the Twitter era. So it has allowed people to, as Twitter does best, be cynical and sarcastic and all the rest. And here you have a Dirty Harry reimagined as Manuel Valls' face superimposed on Dirty Harry. He had a 44 Magnum in the film, and here he has a 49.3 Magnum, of course. And elsewhere you've got references to, I suppose, the Roman emperors and such. House of Valls. What else do we have? The Macron law being forced through with 49.3, and that is, of course, is a kind of a police baton with the 49 times 3 measurement, and so forth, Claire. So Twitter users criticising what is, I suppose, you could say, not the most democratic means of getting that law passed.
And it'll be interesting to see how it pans out over the course of the week. Of course, that no confidence vote, we're expecting it later in the week.
Right.
Let's move on to your favourite. I don't know what you're going to do when this Dominique StraussKahn trial is over, James.
I don't know either. I'll talk about something else with a degree of sadness.
Go on, give us the latest.
Okay. Basically, every day there's a new detail, and it's due to go through to Friday. The court will make its decision known in March, but it's a drama every single day. And now the prosecutor, the state prosecutor, is actually calling for the acquittal. It's quite extraordinary. This has been in the offing for about 3 years. The case, I suppose, the charges were first, brought to bear about 3 years ago, and 5 of the 6 plaintiffs dropped their accusations yesterday, and now even the state prosecutor is dropping his calling for an acquittal. So, it's been a massive media circus up in Lille in the north of France, and it looks like Mr. Strauss-Kahn now is almost certain to get off with those charges. And the prosecutor, they were the words he used, purely and simply, I'm asking for the charges to be dropped. So there you go. Now, he spoke to Le Nouvel Observateur today saying, look, for 3 years I've known that this is essentially an empty shell of a case. So clearly he feels vindicated now with this information coming through. But as I said yesterday, it's really a case of the ignominy of this case and the details getting out into the public, and the fact that it has been a humiliating case for the former head of the IMF, for the favourite for the Elysee Palace back at the time of the case in New York. And this is how one cartoonist has imagined what it would have been like if he did make it to the Elysee Palace. And that is the impression that has been left with the French public and indeed the global public because of this case.
And indeed the sad stories of some of the women involved as well. We have to remember that.
That's right.
But on the brighter note, DSK might get a book out of it.
Indeed.
James Creedon, thank you very much for bringing us Media Watch. Stay with us, more news coming up.